Hey folks, I'm Bugs and you're the internet. Yeah, I'm back. Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, or Key, or Unchained, or the fucking mobile game as I called it in that one video that I wanted to turn into a running bit, but then obviously I haven't really been making those videos for a while. Anyway, was the first long-running live service Kingdom Hearts story the series would ever get. It would eventually get a second mode with its own story, but that's not important right now. Unfortunately, the game was delisted. Both 3 and the games that are coming up at some point, God knows when, are heavily reliant on the events and characters from Union Cross. This video is meant to be a compact version of the story, so that you don't have to watch a multi-hour long cutscene compilation. But I will say, check out Everglow's video. It is what I used for my understanding of this story. It unironically has really good explanations of different bits and pieces that you need to know. On the whole, I still recommend watching it, because I will ultimately skip over so many little intricate details just to get a sweeping picture of everything. And yes, I am well aware of how crazy that is, given that this video is going to probably be pretty long. I don't know how long yet. Editor me, throw it up on the screen and I don't know, stab me in the back or something. I don't know. Also, Everglow's video will be linked in the description. Chapter 1. The Beginning. A reality ago, in a time called the Age of Fairy Tales, Keyblade wielders flourished. They were so plentiful and so strong that a society formed around them. They lived in a place called Traverse Town, Agrabah, Coruscant? Daybreak Town, it's Daybreak Town. Though the Coruscant reference is actually on point. They're pretty much Jedi. Whole Council of Masters with the Grand Master at the top. By the way, that guy is called the Master of Masters. This is his apprentice, Lushu. The Master also has 5 other disciples. Dumbass, Dipshit, Asshat, Shitstain, and Ava. I think she's chill if you can't tell. Each of them carry a book called The Book of Prophecies, which contains information of the future, given to them by the Master. These 5 disciples are masters of their own Keyblade unions, effectively different branches of a single team. Each union is filled with young Keyblade wielders. The mission of these unions? To travel the world and defeat monsters to gather and protect the light, with each union lightly competing with each other to collect the most light possible. Also, yes, I said world singular. All the Disney and Final Fantasy worlds, it's all the same, planet in this point in history. This is our main character. Let's call them Yu. Yu has the choice to join any of the 5 unions, but let's just join the dumbass union, because the bears never fucking won shit. No, I'm not bitter. Yu becomes a Keyblade wielder and gets a benefit. This little creature called Chirithy. Every single wielder has their own Chirithy. They're made from dreams. What's that doing there on the screen? They shouldn't know that yet. No, get that out of there. Okay, anyway, sorry for that interruption, folks. Basically, they protect the one that they're bound to from nightmares. Mostly. And when the wielder disappears, so will they. So Yu goes around collecting light and making friends, when one day they make a new friend named Ephemer. I like his hair, and not because it's the same as mine in real life. Nope, not at all. Either way, Ephemer promises to meet you again, but then he disappears. It starts a long mystery that I will explain the answer to you in a second, but first, this is Skuld. She is a new friend. She too is looking for Ephemer. Alright, so now on to the actual answer. So one day, long before any of the unions really formed, the Master of Masters just kinda up and left town, never to return. But he gave each of his disciples a mission to complete in his absence. Most of them aren't important, except for these 2. His apprentice, Lushu, must take the Master's Keyblade, no name, along with some weird black box to the future, the long way, and just observe what happens. And we do know where that Keyblade ended up, so he must have done a bang-up job there. Ava, on the other hand, was tasked with ensuring that the light and Keyblade wielders would survive. Both of these missions were tied to a premonition that the Master had. The end of the world was coming, something called the Keyblade War. Ava took the mission and created the Dandelions, a select group of wielders, those that were considered the purest of pure hearts, with the idea that they would stay out of the conflict to make it past the end of the world. Ephemer and Skuld are members of that 6th union, and an invitation is offered to you as well. One that you took. Obviously. I mean, you would be absolutely crazy. Ephemer is doing something for this group, and probably will be at it for a while. While this is happening, tensions are rising between the unions. Perhaps the war isn't very far off. Chapter 2. Life goes on. It's odd, but the tensions seem to dissipate. Turns out there was nothing to worry about. We're all fine. You is fine. Yeah. Well, aside from those nightmares. Moving on, to assist with this relieving of tensions, 5 new union leaders are picked. Interestingly, all of them are dandelions. Alongside that, they've been given a bunch of rules and regulations to keep the world in order. Either way, I think it's time for us to meet our new bosses. First, we have Ephemer. Obviously, the best choice for the council head, given his nature to question everything and actually push to find, good solutions. Next, we have Skuld. Lay of the law, she likes following the rules, definitely will help everyone stay on the straight and narrow. Next, we have Brain, a very mysterious guy in a hat and hidden eyes. Huh. Oh, no, he's chill. He just kind of looks like Mark Hamill? It's probably nothing to worry about. Who's the next guy? Ventus. Wait, what the fuck? And Strelitzia. Larium. Anyone else smell roses or feel like there's a number above their head? Okay, why is this all happening? It feels like we missed something really big. Maleficent is taking center stage again, talking about how Sora beat her ass. No, seriously, this is the Maleficent we defeated in Kingdom Hearts 1, the Hollow Bastion dragon fight.
Stop! See ya! Force! Stop! Force!
Yeah, that one. She's gone back in time somehow and wants to undo all her failures, and failing to do so. So, a new failure, I guess. However, there is a very important character here that we have to meet, too. Okay, so this is millennia's, prior to anything we've seen in any of the other Kingdom Hearts games. So, certain primordial forces are a bit different. Okay, so you know how the light manifests itself inside 7 princesses? It's not intrusive, it's just kind of there. The darkness doesn't work like that. Instead, when it manifests, it's its own creature called darkness. So we have the force known as darkness, like dark energy, dark power, dark Firaga, and we also have the manifested consciousness called darkness. It's different in the context of how this is earlier darkness, so it's not how we'd think of it in most of the rest of the series, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm just calling it a shade. Just know shade is referring to the sentient darkness creatures. Anyway, Shade tells Maleficent that she sent her heart to the past, yet she's in a place that doesn't really exist. That she was set in a trap, and that she's in a fake world. Wait, fake world? How do we go there? But we're in that world. We're there when she's... How do we get there? Into a fake world unless we aren't in the real... Oh yeah. The Keyblade War. The war was tragic. The Dandelions avoided it by disappearing into a fake data world. You didn't join them. You fought in the war. Luxu had a fight with Ava, one she apparently won. Also, if Cherthi is a Dream Eater, then we're about to witness the creation of a nightmare. Everyone has a dark version of Cherthi too. It also seems that they can take the light of wielders and turn people into beings of pure darkness called Darklings. They feed off of the dark power inside others. As the battle passes its climax, it's clear you are one of the last to die. They stare up at the sky, watching the hearts of their friends float up when it happens. Kingdom Hearts. As you gets ready to pass on, Ephemer and Skald appear to take you to safety, to the data reality. No one but the 5 new leaders have any memories of the war, or the events that led up to it. The only thing any other wielder can remember is through the form of nightmares that slowly get covered over by Chirithes. There's more to it, but it's not super important. Anyway, for real this time, on to Chapter 3. Data lives on. So yeah, you, along with the other dandelions, are living in a data recreation of Daybreak Town. Actually, I should say most of the dandelions. One is missing according to Larium, his sister, and he's trying to find her. Strelitzia only really had 2 people she was truly connected to. Larium, her brother of course, and an acquaintance she held dear, Alerna. I don't know why, but I think she would, call people worms. Either way, the world is starting to glitch. Things that were never planned have been happening. A new world has latched onto this data world. It's a thing. It's Wreck-It Ralph. It's literally just Wreck-It Ralph. And Maleficent is trying to find a way into the real world so that she can get into some machine called the Lifeboat that will send her heart to that one weird cutscene in Kingdom Hearts 2 where she returns. By the way, this will be a very important plot point for later. It will be on the quiz. Back to Brain, we learn that he was given a copy of the Book of Prophecies, and with it, the list of people chosen to become the new Union leaders. As we know, one of the leaders should not be in the position they're in. Now, with the knowledge of Strelitzia being an intended leader, and obviously her, we're left with one question. Who murdered Strelitzia? It isn't a trick. It isn't a fastball. The list contained 5 names. Yet, we know of 6 new leaders. So who wasn't on the list?
I want it that way.
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
It was
Ventus,
killed my
sister.
But let's go over Ventus's testimony along with the facts that we would know by this point. Ventus was asked by Ava to meet in the same place that Strelitzia would be struck down, on the same day. After the meeting with her, Ven and Ava would walk and talk before she would give Ventus his new role as a Union leader. But the time that Ven had in that house is fuzzy. The truth is simple. A shade tricked Ventus. It possessed him and used his body to kill another leader and take her place. It only killed Strelitzia because the Book of Prophecies said it would happen. Shade reveals itself and shows that the darkness also has plans. So I should explain it now. The Lifeboat is the nuclear option, so to speak. It is a device that looks similar to the one we saw in Kingdom Hearts 1. It has a total of 7 pods, all of them single use. Once all of them are used, the data world would be sealed off and basically self-destruct, taking out any darkness within it. Unfortunately, one of the shades brought Maleficent to the Lifeboat, so she's already back in Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, the clock is ticking. Everyone needs to get out of the data world now. Ventus, now separated from the shade, finds himself basically a pure light as he jumps and attacks the shade. We don't know what happens, but Ven falls unconscious and the shade is gone. Perhaps the shade took refuge in Ventus's heart again. Meanwhile, in the real world, Lucio puts someone that we can only guess into the Lifeboat to, quote, sow the seed of light in the future. My personal guess is this is Strelitzia. Either way, the clock is ticking. The world is collapsing. The darkness is claiming the data world. Everything seems to be falling in place for the Master's plan. Now, what is the Master's plan? At its core, the Master just wants to eliminate the darkness. All 13 of them. Because of course there's 13! However, this would not be possible for him to do in his lifetime. This is because the darkness is too powerful. It has taken formless existence, shades. The darkness gained the ability to attack people through their hearts, form inside hearts, mold them, corrupt them, and overtake them. However, to do this, it had to trade its long-term sentience, its own individual will. Soon it will be a mindless creature that only consumes. The Master, Lucio, and the 5 original Union leaders would all take darkness into their hearts, whether they knew it or not, taking out the darkness wherever they ended up. This was the purpose of the Keyblade War. All that death and despair was to remove 7 creatures, 7 of 13. The Master planned this from the beginning. Following the Keyblade War, there would be 6 remaining. They would all get stuck to wither and rot. 5 of them would live within the data world, either latching to the Union leaders or just existing in the area. However, 1 would exist in the real world, slowly losing its will, becoming mindless, and able to be destroyed once and for all. Obviously, this would take thousands of lifetimes, and the Master can only trust himself, so this is where Lushu and the lifeboats come in. Alright, stick with me here because it's about to get stupid. The lifeboat is broken. It's supposed to take people to other worlds, but instead it separates their heart from their bodies, basically allowing them to shoot themselves forward in time to a place where they don't exist. However, without a vessel, they'll need some sort of form of memories of them at that point in time to act as a waypoint for the time traveler. With that waypoint, it will also in turn give them the ability to regrow their body. This is actually how Maleficent reforms in 2. They even mention it, how remembering her brought her back in that cutscene. Now, remember Lushu's task? He had to survive for centuries, to watch over the world and bequeath his master's Keyblade to generations upon generations. Also, hide a box somewhere, but that's not important right now. The reason behind this is because that Keyblade is what writes the Book of Prophecies. The eye on the Keyblade witnesses events, and the master is able to see them and write them down. As long as the Keyblade makes it to the future, the master can send himself there, using the book as his waypoint. All of this is just so he can go to a world beyond light and dark. A world of fiction. Yeah, don't ask, they still really haven't explained that either. Now with the data world collapsing, the new leaders, along with you and Alerna, need to get to the real world. Unfortunately, the way out is only limited to 5 people. And once those 5 go, the world will effectively be shut down, and all the residents will enter some strange form of death-like sleep. It would be possible to reset the world and bring everyone back, but with how many risks need to be taken just to get to that point, they might not get the chance. So, 4 people are chosen to enter the real world. Brain, Ven, Larium, and Alerna. You, Skuld, and Ephemer all choose to stay behind. In the real world, things are looking equally bad. The remaining darkness is claiming the world, and it's only a matter of time before Daybreak Town is lost. Brain realizes there isn't much he can do, so he also chooses to preserve hope for the future. While he still tries to force the world to reset, he sends Alerna, Larium, and Ventus into the future. As soon as he sends them, Lushu appears, slowly approaching Brain while speaking mysteriously, ending with the line, "It's a shame this lifetime is your only one." We don't know what happens after that. You, Skuld, and Ephemer, on the other hand, find themselves facing 4 of the 5 shades that are trapped in the data world. The data world will collapse, and the shades want out, something only a Keyblade wielder can do for them. The final showdown begins, but not in the way that you'd think. As the trio gets ready to fight, you starts talking evilly, like they are possessed by the darkness. They swing at Ephemer and Skuld, as our final battle is against our 2 friends. In the end, Ephemer creates a portal of light that drags you and the other darknesses away. Chapter 6. The End of an Age. You wakes up in a place they've been before. Game Central Station. Yes, from Wreck-It Ralph, this is actually a very important plot point. I kind of skimmed over it earlier. Basically, it's this sort of middle ground between the real and data worlds. It's the only place that they could have ended up, really. It makes sense in context. Either way, the Shades and you sit in a wire tunnel when Hugh starts laughing. We don't know where the 5th darkness that was trapped in the data world is, but we have our guesses. But it wasn't you. They tricked the darkness. And in one swift move, you cuts the connection to the main terminal, trapping the darkness and themselves inside the single tunnel. Ephemer and Skuld get in the real world and get in the remaining lifeboats. Ephemer and Skuld use the pods to shield themselves as their world ends. One day, they will rebuild their destroyed home into a city called Scala ad Kylum. Larium, Alerna, and Ventus all end up in worlds familiar to us in the modern Kingdom Hearts story, each with no memory of their old lives. 2 of them, Larium and Alerna, end up in the Dwarf Woodlands, while Ventus is found in the Keyblade Graveyard by Master Xehanort. Speaking of the graveyard, we see Lushu dragging the black box behind him, only for him to lift his hood and reveal that he's taken over Brain's body, much like Xehanort did to Terra. Well, I'd say it's time to finally explain the true purpose of the Chirithy. Up to this point, we knew that when a Chirithy's wielder died or disappeared, lose their heart, the Chirithy would also disappear. However, it's more complicated than that. When a wielder goes to sleep, in this sort of dying sense, they have a choice. If they choose to sleep, they merge with their Chira to become the Dream Eaters from Dream Drop Distance. Yeah, that's right. The Pokemon Ami, before Pokemon Ami came out, yeah, no, those are all dead child soldiers, you absolute freaking animal. I bet you sacrificed them to get materials, didn't you, you absolute monster? However, if they choose to fully pass on, they will reincarnate into a new life. Yu, now faced with this choice, decides to move on to the next life. We see the future of Yu's new life. In Scala, a woman sadly gives a hooded figure her silver-haired infant. We see the baby and the hooded figure live their lives on Destiny Islands. We see the hooded figure collapse of old age, as the baby, now a teen, by the name of Xehanort, leaves his home to train to become a Keyblade Master in a white and gold city. Also, Brain wakes up in Scala, free of Luciu's control, and meets some guy named Sigurd. We don't know. Just don't worry about that. That was a Missing Link thing. Missing Link is canceled. It's probably gonna come up in like 4, but it's not gonna have the same punch because of like how long it's been. I swear to God, I love this series. A reality ago, in a time called the Age of Fairy Tales, Keyblade wielders flourished, but thanks to one man's hatred, only a handful remain. And grief will leave even fewer. But that is a dark road we will follow another day.